All right, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about the pros and cons of living in Dallas, Texas. And you're gonna wanna stick around till the end because the last con is something that nobody ever really talks about, but we'll share that with you and we're gonna get after it right now. Hey, if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Dallas, Texas, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Dallas, Texas. My name is Levi Lassick.
I'm Jimmy Webb Jr.
And we get calls and emails every single day of people just like you that want to make their move to Dallas, Texas, and we absolutely love it. Now, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we're happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas, Texas. So let's get into the pros to start out with whenever you first come to Dallas. And I like to start off with it. Actually, there is the truth in Southern hospitality, the Southern charm. So we're gonna say the people of Dallas and Texas as a whole. If you're moving from out of state, I think you'll find that it's gonna be very accommodating and people are gonna open up to you as soon as you get here.
People are so nice. I mean, everywhere you go, everybody's nodding, saying hello, good morning, how are you? It's really true.
And whenever you move into your community, I know something about, I moved into a new neighborhood about a year and a half ago, and there was something that went on. They had a crawfish boil and a spring fling within the first month that I was there. So really that community gave me in that neighborhood a chance to meet everybody right out of the gate, get to know. And now a lot of those people are my very good friends and I'm part of that neighborhood automatically. And I think you'll find that most of those neighborhoods host things. Most of them have Facebook groups now.
Yeah, like that story, Jay, our buddy Jay and Michael who live in, it's called Newman Village up in Frisco. And you know, it's a whole like gated community. They have a Facebook page. Listen to it. So this is November. They just had Halloween, right? Jay's out there. He's got the chainsaw out there as part of his costume. And you know, they're having a little fun and he leaves his chainsaw out at his neighbor's house. Next morning, there's a Facebook post in the group. Hey, did anybody leave their chainsaw at my house? So, you know, goes and picks it up. Just things like that. That's how we roll down here in Texas.
All right, so the number two thing we're going to talk about, one of the big pros of moving to Dallas, Texas, is going to be the opportunity as far as Dallas, Texas is one of the top 10 job markets in the United States. And the median income here is around $44,000. So, and because the cost of living is so low compared to everywhere else, then that your dollar really goes a lot further. But as far as the top 10 community, I think Dallas is number 3. And so they house several large corporations. We just got notification that Uber is moving here to Dallas, actually down the street actually. They're gonna be housing 300-400 new employees, as well as you have American Airlines, you've got Southwest, several other large corporations, especially
Toyota,
moving.
A bunch of headquarters moving.
Starting to move, coming from some of the West and East Coast.
State Farm.
Yeah, Texas is a very business-friendly state, and so we're seeing a high influx there. And so this brings us to number 3 on our big pro of living in Dallas, Texas is going to be the airport. And because you're centrally located here in Dallas, it's got one of the largest airports in the country. And if you're a business traveler, I realize we do a lot of things via Zoom now, but if you're a business traveler, being central in the US makes it a very quick trip, and there's direct flights every single day going to the West Coast, to Chicago, New York, LA. You can get there in a couple of hours and on a direct flight.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Did you know DFW Airport, the square footage of it all, or square mileage, I don't know, is larger than the state of Rhode Island. The whole thing. Just you know,
really?
A little fun fact.
There you go. So that brings us up to the number 4 reason moving to the pro of moving to Dallas, Texas is actually all the attractions. Mainly, one of Jimmy's favorite is the sports. I think you got a fun fact on sports too, right?
Yeah. So good fun. I'm full of fun facts, by the way. So
useless facts.
So I think Dallas is one of, I believe, 4, it might be 5 cities in the country where you have all 4 major sports. You got basketball, football, baseball, hockey. We got, you know, Cowboys, Stars, Rangers. Who am I missing? Mavericks, right? Oh, Mavericks, right? So yeah, one of like 4 cities in the whole country that has all 4. So yeah.
Yeah, you also got the Dallas Zoo, very well known, the Dallas Arboretum. You've got Six Flags. I mean, the State Fair. I mean, world famous Texas State Fair every year.
Fried everything.
And a major destination for concerts, venues at the American Airlines Center, at Dos Equis Pavilion, things like that. So very, very popular attraction for those types of things. So that brings us to the number 4 pro of moving to Dallas, Texas, which is going to be biking, hiking, and the lakes. So if you're an outdoors types person, again, it's kind of a little sports related, but if you like to bike or hike, then there are several trails. Actually, right behind us, there is what they call the Santa Fe Trail, which actually starts here in Deep Ellum, and you can bike all the way to White Rock Lake, which White Rock Lake itself is about a 9.5 mile track around that lake. And that's a very popular destination, not only during the week, but on the weekends. It's just a really nice setting. You can do everything at the White Rock Lake, which is next to the Dallas Arboretum as well. But you can picnic there, you can get kayaks, you can paddleboard, I mean, biking, hiking, running, anything outdoors.
Rollerblade.
Yeah, I mean, they have it all there. And there's so many different little spots around the lake that just kind of have their own special spot there. So
there's a calisthenics like jungle gym. I don't know what else to call it.
There you go,
yeah. There too. So that's your thing.
They do some yoga classes. I've seen some looks like spiritual gatherings and things like that as well. So, so something a little bit for everything in White Rock Lake. And then you go to something like Grapevine Lake, and they've got tons of mountain biking and hiking trails that you can really take advantage of. There's actually several good mountain biking trails. Not only that, but Dallas is very central to, being in North Texas. You're within an hour drive as well. There's several trails you can get to very quickly if you want to take a little weekend getaway and to do that as far as that. But also several lakes around Dallas. I mean, any direction you can drive about 10 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes and get to a lake. And if you like boating activities, then you're gonna love lake life in Dallas. And it's a great way to take advantage of that, especially during the summer. A lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Party Cove. If you don't know about Party Cove, you're about to.
All right, so that brings us to another one of the top pros of moving to Dallas is that's going to be no state income tax. So with that being said, it's funny that you think a lot of people still don't know about this, but if you're used to paying a state income tax, which most states do carry that, especially if you're coming from the West or the East Coast where it's higher, that's going to be a significant amount of savings. And if you're working remotely right now and you're able to make a transition, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that is a significant savings. I know in California, New York, when they are double digits in state income tax. So you imagine saving, 10, 12% on your income just by moving to Texas alone, just from the income tax. But we actually have another video that focuses completely on cost of living. So you'll want to check that out as well. And by the way, tap the like button if you're getting some value out of this video so far. That really helps us a lot. But we have another video dedicated completely to cost of living and the housing savings you will get just moving from the East or the West Coast is going to be significant. On top of that, no state income tax. You are going to save a lot of money by moving here. And
it's either us or Florida, and I don't particularly like hurricanes, so I'm here in Texas.
Right, and so that brings us actually to our last pro on the list, which is the weather.
You like that segue?
Yeah, that was a good segue. The weather here in Dallas. Now, I know what you're probably gonna say and what you probably heard is that it gets hot in the summertime, and it does, not gonna lie. But the reality is if
not
you
really.
could,
kind of.
Well, it depends. Well, we grew up in it. I mean, I was born and raised in Texas, and so
same.
I'm well acclimated to the weather here. So I actually I like a hot summer. But a lot of people that are coming from the north or the west or east coast are just not quite used to it. But I'm here to say if you can make it through those 3 summer months, and really July and August are probably the hottest. But if you make it through those 2 months, September, the weather breaks, the humidity breaks, and it is beautiful. You have great weather, almost perfect. I mean, right now it's 75 degrees outside and usually very sunny, hardly any rain, and it'll be this way through December. And so I have several family photos at Christmas time where we're standing in t-shirt and shorts outside with the sun in our eyes.
Yep.
So, that it's nice, but we've also had a couple of Christmases where it's actually snowed on Christmas Day. So You know, every 3 or 4 or 5 years, we do get some snow here, but other than that, you've got beautiful weather the rest of the year. You just make it through those summer months. January and February, a little bit chilly sometimes.
Yeah, it can get cold. It'll snow sometimes in January, February.
Yeah. But I tell you what, by March, you're back at it again. All right. So
Valentine's Day weekend seems to be a popular weekend for snow. I don't know why.
all right, so let's jump into the cons real quick, but we're also gonna give you the positive side of the cons. And so we just talked about the summer. The rest of the year is great. The weather can be crazy a little bit day to day, so I think that's what people really associate the most with. But really one of the biggest cons we think about coming to Dallas is public transportation. If that's something you're used to, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a con. I mean, if you're used to taking the train or trams or biking or getting to work, something like that, then as far as public transportation, it's not the best. This is definitely more of a car-friendly city. Definitely. And you want to have a car. Yeah, if you're not into driving, then there are options, but the bus routes and the trams and things like that are a little bit more spread out. So
yeah, it's theirs, but it's not New York or like London. You think of the tube and stuff. It's not like that.
Yeah. But depending on your work needs now, I mean, you're probably working from home mostly, or at least part of the time. But other than that, you're going to want to have a car in Dallas, or at least pick the right neighborhood for you. A lot of the neighborhoods, actually, we have another video specifically on some of the Dallas neighborhoods.
We'll put that in the link. Yeah.
And you can get everything you need within that neighborhood. So if you are working from home or via Zoom now, then everything should be accessible for you there.
There's always Uber too.
Yeah.
Or Lyft. Don't forget about Lyft.
Yeah. And so even though we talked about another con, I think for myself is actually, we talked about the biking trails, but I would say biking in the city is a little challenging. I've been to DC and Seattle and Chicago and places where there is a bike lane everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. They are very bike friendly. I would say Dallas is a little limited on bike lanes. You're gonna find them here and there. They're kind of sporadic. It's kind of like they'll be on one road and then they'll disappear, and you've got to kind of merge onto the road, which I don't like riding with traffic. I always prefer a separate bike lane or even a trail.
Well, here's what you do. Because I used to bike actually a lot before my bike was stolen. But
you can buy another one.
Yeah, well, I could, but I don't. It was my dad's old triathlon bike. I won't get into it, but here, I mean, when I used to go just cruising. I would put my headphones in and I would, Google Maps. You put in, there's a bike option, right? It'll show you where to go and where you want to go. But man, if you are a big biker, there's something called critical mass down here. They're actually in a ton of different cities around the country as well. But basically what critical mass is, we all meet over here at Dallas Farmers Market. I'm talking about hundreds of bikers, and we meet, and it's all about just biker awareness. So we'll just cruise hundreds of bikers on, I think it's like the last Friday of every month or something. And we'll all, bike and yeah, we'll piss some people off. We'll get some people honking at us because, the guys, I guess, who run it, so to speak, will, hold up traffic. Hey, we're taking over the streets for this night, right? And you're just bringing awareness to bikers. So I wouldn't say that it's more dangerous than anything, but you don't have the bike lanes everywhere, as you were saying, but you can definitely get around on a bike, no problem.
All right, so another con is going to be the traffic. Now, we talked about it being a car-friendly city. Traffic, I think a lot of people don't like the traffic here, but I will say
it's gotten a lot better.
Well, yeah, definitely COVID helped it get better. That was a positive out of that. But I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in New York, and I tell you what, traffic is much worse there. Actually, I don't feel like traffic is that bad here. I think it's still very manageable. I've been to Austin. Have you ever been in Austin traffic? It's terrible. I mean, it is absolutely terrible. I think Dallas is still very manageable on traffic. Even during rush hour, it's really not that bad. So I wouldn't worry too much about the traffic. But that brings us to
we spent the last 10 years going through construction on all these highways and stuff. Like 635 now has the underpass, the express lane underneath and all this stuff, widening lanes. So if you come now, you get to enjoy all the fruits of all that labor and didn't have to go through all the construction. So you're welcome.
There you go. So that brings us to the last, and just to wrap this up, like we said, I don't think anybody really mentions this, but I'm gonna say the biggest con for me in Dallas is the landscape. And what I mean by the landscape is it's just flat. I mean, I like whenever I'm in other cities and driving around, like when you're in Denver or either in the Northwest, or you're looking at mountains all the time when you cruise around, or even when you're on the West Coast or the East Coast and you can see the ocean from time to time. To me, that's very calming. I enjoy that. There's none of that here as far as what you'll see. But the good side to that is I've also lived in Pittsburgh and have driven in Seattle and cities where
San Francisco.
Yeah, you have to drive up and down or even park on extremely inverted hills, so which could be a challenge. If you don't like that, then this is definitely a city for you because everything is flat. It's very simple to get around. You don't have to go in the ups and downs. But other than that, I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And so with that being said, you know, that's check out some of our own videos like we discussed, the neighborhoods and the cost of living. You'll find out more information. And when you're making your move to Dallas, be sure to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll be happy to help you make that smooth move.
Absolutely. See you soon, guys.